I hacked my cheating wife's phone, found all her secrets, divorced her immediately, and exposed and ruined the lives of everyone involved in her affair. My marriage ended after I uncovered my wife's infidelity and dismantled her affair partners' lives. I stumbled upon her secret phone some time ago. We had just changed internet providers, and our new modem included an application to manage the network and its connections. It was astonishing to see the number of devices linked to our Wi-Fi. One evening, while exploring the app, I noticed an Android phone connected. Since both my wife and I use Apple devices, my initial thought was that someone had guessed our Wi-Fi password. I promptly changed it, but the Android device reappeared a few days later. Working from home one day, I observed that the Android phone disappeared when my wife, Cindy, left for work and then returned when she came home that evening. I finally had an opportunity to search her car and then her purse, but found nothing. That night, while she was in the shower, I looked through her gym bag and eventually located the phone, tucked away in her briefcase. I didn't have enough time to examine it then, so I returned it. The next time she went to the gym, I tried to find it, but it was gone. The following night, I discovered it again in her briefcase. This time, I took the phone and attempted to unlock it, but none of her usual passwords worked. I decided to take the phone to a local repair shop to see if they could unlock it. I had to admit the true reason for wanting access to the phone to the technician, as I'm not good at lying, and I suppose he felt some sympathy for me. About an hour later, he called to say he was finished. He had backed up everything to a thumb drive. When I got home and reviewed the contents, I saw all the pictures and messages exchanged between her and 2 different men over the past 9 months, including explicit conversations about their encounters. 6 years of marriage vanished in an instant. I felt as if I was having a heart attack, struggling to breathe, just sitting there staring at the computer screen. I recovered after an hour, realizing it was likely a panic attack. When Cindy arrived home, she seemed very agitated. She moved around the house, clearly searching for her phone. I asked if she was all right, and she claimed she had misplaced some work papers and needed to find them. I offered to assist, but she insisted she would find them herself. I led her back to the kitchen, produced the burner phone, and asked if this was what she was looking for. She had a stunned expression, and panic began to set in. I stated there could only be one reason for her to have a second phone in her briefcase, and asked if she was cheating on me, which she denied. I replied, "Fine, then give me the password so I can see for myself what's on it." She attempted to turn it around on me, accusing me of invading her privacy. I handed the phone back to her, telling her that her reaction only confirmed my suspicions. I sat down on the sofa, felt the intense rush again, and started to shed a few tears. When she saw my tears, she softened and claimed it was only a single instance, that she felt terrible about it, and had ended things. I opened the file on my tablet, handed it to her, and simply asked, "Only once?" She repeatedly apologized, saying it wasn't my fault and that she wanted us to remain together. I told her I needed some space to think and that we should separate while I decided how to proceed. She disagreed, insisting we needed to discuss it. So I began asking questions. Were they married coworkers? How did they meet? Where did they meet up? What kind of intimate acts did they engage in? What did she do with them that she hadn't done with me? Were they larger than me? Did she use protection? Finally, she said, "Enough, I can't do this anymore." She then asked how long I had known. I told her I found the phone a week ago, but only saw its contents today. I explained I was still in shock and needed time to process everything. She agreed to stay at her sister's house for the rest of the week, and we could talk more that weekend. She wants to schedule a session with a marriage counselor for next week, and I agreed. I didn't mention that I would be consulting an attorney tomorrow to understand my options. Last Christmas, her sister divorced after discovering her husband's affair. There were several family discussions at her parents' house about infidelity and how despicable her ex-brother-in-law was for betraying his wife. I can't imagine what was going through Cindy's mind sitting there, being just as culpable. The idea of leaving her breaks my heart, but I don't believe I could ever forgive her or trust her again. We had been discussing having children, and I'm so relieved we were still waiting. Here's an update. First, my tasks. My attorney reviewed the collection of texts, and he's proceeding with the filings. He provided me with a checklist of things I need to do in the meantime. Regarding the doctor, all tests came back negative. I met with the first affair partner's wife this afternoon and gave her hard copies and a thumb drive. I showed her the pictures they had exchanged. She plans not to confront him until he is served with papers. Cindy's other sister, not the one she's staying with, but the one who recently divorced her cheating husband, I met with her tonight. I showed her my greatest hits, the most incriminating texts, and let her see what her sister had sent to her affair partners. She was both angry and a little sad. She apologized to me, saying she had no idea what her sister had been involved in, and if she had, she would have told me. I'm sure I'll hear more about her sister when Cindy comes to the house tomorrow to collect some of her belongings. She wants to sit down and talk, likely about how we will proceed. This might be the final entry on this topic. I might post a separate update later if necessary. Let's see what the community has to say about this situation. Inform her sister and family about this before she has a chance to control the narrative by accusing you of whatever she can conceive, and maintain a detached attitude while you consult an attorney and get an STD test. Yes, best of luck. The original poster replied, "She knows the extensive truth I possess, and we discussed telling lies to our families and friends before she left today. Attorney today and seeing my doctor tomorrow. Check. Isn't it ironic? Upgrading your internet connection not only boosted your download speed, but also revealed a whole new world of connections you never anticipated. Who knew your Wi-Fi upgrade would come with a side of detective work? It's like the universe decided to gift wrap a trail and deliver it straight to your modem. Next upgrade on the list, a firewall for your heart, and perhaps a subscription to a free streaming service. At least you have a solid connection with your attorney and your doctor now, right? Priorities. Update, I discovered a burner phone in my wife's briefcase. I had a phone technician gain access to it and found that she had 2 affairs over the past 9 months. When I confronted her with the phone, she denied having an affair and then claimed it was only a single instance until I showed her copies of her texts and the photos they had exchanged. I told her I needed some space to process this, and she has been at her sister's house all week. She wants to reconcile and go to couples therapy to help us move past this. Since she is gone, I have decided to file for divorce and have a lawyer working on it. Her first affair partner was married, and I contacted his wife and shared her texts. She is currently initiating divorce proceedings as well. One of her sisters recently divorced due to her husband's infidelity. I shared everything with her too. My wife, Cindy, came over to the house last night to get some things and to sit down and talk. She expressed remorse for hurting me, said she is still very much in love with me, and wants to stay together. Her affairs were never about the quality or quantity of our intimate life, and she asked if I ever felt my needs were overlooked. Our intimate life was quite vibrant. We averaged 4 to 5 times a week, and she initiated 50% of the time. She simply enjoyed experiencing intimacy with other people and receiving attention. She's willing to go to therapy to understand why she desires this and to help her be a better partner to me. She mentioned she would understand if I wanted a pass to explore or get even by dating another woman, and if that was something I liked, we could consider having an open marriage, so we could both explore that together. I told her that was not something I would ever be interested in. She said she missed me and wondered if there was a chance I was ready for her to come home, even if it meant sleeping in the spare bedroom for now. I said it still felt too soon and it might be better if we gave it more time. I did not tell her that I had filed for divorce. She should be served sometime next week, according to my lawyer. We had a session scheduled for Wednesday for couples counseling that I will have to cancel. Aside from their betrayal, our perspectives on our relationship are vastly different to even consider reconciling. Cindy was a little upset when her sister confronted her about her affairs, but she seemed to expect it. I suppose her entire family knows at this point, and her parents are also displeased with her. This morning, a few of our mutual friends stopped by to check on me and ended up trying to encourage me to give Cindy another chance and work things out. I inquired about how much they knew and brought them up to speed, showing them the phone and all its contents. Needless to say, they were previously misinformed and now quite embarrassed. Let's see what the community has to say. First up, you're demonstrating how to handle things correctly. That's uncommon around here, especially the self-respect aspect. I bet your soon-to-be ex will move in with some naive person within 6 months. The next person offers, besides the betrayal, our views on a relationship are miles apart to even consider reconciling. I'm sorry, but it seems like you never truly knew your wife. She never revealed her authentic self to you. The deception is incredible. Keep that momentum going. As for your friends, they should never encourage you one way or the other. They should support your decision. Why would they ever believe Cindy, the deceitful cheater? Embarrassment is justified. The original poster replies, as far as why they believe Cindy, it's easy to believe someone you know when you don't know the full truth, and she is presenting her own story and omitting the facts that make her look bad. Someone else from the community reacts, and this is why you need to divorce her. If she truly wanted to work on things with you, she would have been open, honest, transparent, etc., but she's lying and downplaying what she did to you and to others. She wants to protect herself, and when the betrayed partner stays with the cheater, it helps show everyone it wasn't so bad. Her wanting to work on things with you is about her, and her alone, not you. It's about what it does for her, what she can gain from it. She wasn't, and still isn't, thinking about you, only herself. One last community thought before we move on. Something that always astounds me is when a disloyal wife is caught, but doesn't confess. They always suggest therapy and say they can change and be better, and are willing to do anything to stay together. Where was all that eagerness to fix the marriage before they cheated? She says her affairs were never about your intimate life, but rather her need to be with others. Really? As if that would make you feel so much better, like, oh, I understand, in that case, why would I leave? I hope you detect the sarcasm. Now she wants to get back together, as if that need would simply vanish. Original poster, stay the course. She is simply absurd. Hopefully, she will get therapy and do better in her next relationship. She has broken this one beyond repair. Any so-called friends who are asking you to reconsider, ask them if you can have intimate relations with their wife, and if they will stay with her afterwards so they understand what they're asking of you. If they say no, then tell them to stop talking. They have no idea. I appreciate that you know you deserve more and have enough self-respect to walk away from someone who thinks so little of you that they would cheat and expect you to just brush it under the rug and welcome them back with open arms. Some people. Well, Cindy's really pushing for that couples therapy, huh? It's like she's treating this whole situation like an audition for The Bachelor, Marriage Counseling Edition. I mean, she's got the drama, the multiple partners, and even a supportive audience of friends who clearly missed the part where she cheated. Maybe she could get a therapist who specializes in "Why did I think this would work after cheating 101?" Meanwhile, you've already booked your tickets out of this reality show. Good call in maintaining your self-respect and not auditioning for her sequel, Cheating Wives of Whereverville. Stay strong. Update 2. Note, this edit triggered a spam bot to delete my posts. Trying one more time. You've been served. I guess the third time's the charm. It took the process server 3 attempts to serve her today, but at 2:15 p.m., Cindy was finally served at her office. I was surprised it took her an hour to finally call me. She was upset, and I told her it was a simple power exchange. She had all the power before, and now I have reclaimed it. I asked her when she started cheating what she thought would happen if she got caught, and isn't that the reason she got a second phone? She still wants to work things out, and I agreed to go to counseling with her if for no other reason than to get answers to questions I have. At least our insurance is covering most of the therapy cost. I have little desire to reconcile, but I'm just going along with it until the divorce is finalized. The audience has a couple of thoughts. The first one. It took her an hour to finally call me. In that hour, she was probably communicating with her affair partner. He turned her down, so she wants to reconcile. Play the long game, and for your best interest alone. She had no concern for you when she was cheating. The original poster replies, her current affair partner couldn't afford to keep her. He's not a high earner, definitely not able to sustain her lifestyle. She's always wanted to stay with me. Someone else chimes in, she has always wanted to stay with me. Are just words, original poster. If she really wanted to stay with you, she'd give you the full truth. She'd write you a complete timeline of her affair and then agree to a polygraph to corroborate her written timeline. She wants to keep her lifestyle, and that is different from wanting you. Original poster, I was you 18 years ago. My deceitful, cheating ex-wife's affair partner could not afford her. My ex was and is greedy, selfish, and materialistic. 3 months after she moved to be near him, he left her. She tried to come back to me, but that was a firm no. She didn't want me. She wanted her lifestyle. I wanted a partner who actually wanted me, so she and I were no longer going to be a couple. Stay on the divorce path, and you won't get the full truth from her. Original poster, cheaters lie and they minimize. At least now she's facing the consequences of her choices, and you're reclaiming that power like a boss. Who knew marriage could come with a tutorial on power dynamics and divorce court as a final exam? Keep playing along with the counseling. It's like an advanced course in how to endure until the judge bangs the gavel. Confronting the affair partner. I had a bit of fun today. After work, I stopped at a downtown restaurant and had a drink at the bar. It was before the dinner rush and pretty slow, so I was able to have a long conversation with the bartender. I told him I had recently found out that my wife had been cheating with 2 different men for the last year. I mentioned that the first affair partner was married and that I had met with his wife and given her copies of all the evidence I had collected. She had suspected he had been unfaithful, but never found any proof. She was going to use what I had given her to take him for everything, but she wasn't going to confront him until the day he was served. The bartender asked about the second guy. I said he was single, and I hadn't decided what to do about him yet, but I said I was a strong believer in karma, and I wasn't afraid to help karma along if the need arose. He laughed and said that was a good one. I finished my drink and handed him my credit card to close out my tab. He froze for a second when he saw my name. He gave me my receipt, and I said, "Give my regards to Cindy, my wife," and added, "Be seeing you, Kevin." I've never read anything more satisfying in my life. There's nothing like dropping a truth bomb with your cocktail, right? At least you got to enjoy your drink and serve up some spicy karma, all while leaving Kevin with a stunned expression. Who knew happy hour could double as an episode of Revenge on the Rocks? Bravo. Bravo. Update. I shared emails and pictures with the wife of affair partner number 1. She surprised him with divorce papers last week. I confronted affair partner number 2 at the restaurant where he works. I told him I knew everything and said I would be seeing him, my favorite John Wick line. 2 days later, affair partner 2 was fired from his job. Just karma. I had nothing to do with it, I swear. I told my soon-to-be ex-wife's sister, who recently experienced infidelity, about her sister's actions. Divorce papers were served to my soon-to-be ex-wife, credit cards were canceled, and bank accounts were separated at my request. She did not attend a birthday party for one of my friends this weekend. She was also uninvited to an annual barbecue with our friend group on Memorial Day. Yesterday, we had a couples counseling session. It began with me being criticized for causing her affair partners to lose their marriages and jobs, respectively. I said, well, I had nothing to do with Kevin losing his job, but I have no sympathy for either of them due to what they did to contribute to wrecking our marriage. When I asked how she knew all of this and if she had been in contact with them since we split up, she deflected and said they reached out to her. I asked to see her phone to confirm that, and she refused, so I said, I guess we are done then, and stood up to leave. Our therapist tried to smooth things over and get us talking. I asked why she cheated on me and how she met her affair partners. She had a very well-rehearsed answer that I didn't believe and won't repeat here, but she was being very remorseful, complete with tears, about wanting to reconcile and save our marriage. Of course, she wants to move back in while we work on resolving our differences and fixing our relationship. Our therapist did an excellent job of being fair and not trying to take sides. She asked me what I needed to be able to move forward, and I gave her a list of 5 things I needed: a full account of the affair, where they met and how often, all the details with nothing held back. A list of friends and relatives who knew of the affair when it was happening. Full access to her phone tonight before we leave. A full apology and confession of the affair on her social media accounts, including the names of her affair partners. Once the divorce is finalized, I would go to therapy with her again to see if we have a relationship left to salvage. After much discussion, she agreed to everything except numbers 3 and 5. I conceded number 3 but said she needed to retain a lawyer and respond to the divorce papers as soon as possible. I told her she destroyed the marriage when she decided to cheat, and that had to be resolved before we could move forward. This afternoon, she posted her apology and confession to her social media accounts, complete with affair partners tagged. I haven't heard from her since our session, so I don't know about the other items. I also received word that her attorney had reached out to mine to arrange a meeting for next week. Final update. We met with the lawyers earlier this week, and I was mostly pleased with the settlement. She agreed to give me the house in exchange for assuming $11,000 of credit card debt. I had originally told her that if we had to sell the house, I would be moving to another city, and reconciliation would probably be out of the question. I did have to commit to 3 more couples counseling sessions under the pretense of working on having an open relationship. She wants to move back in soon, but I said I needed more time with my own personal therapist before I'm comfortable with that. All that matters is that she signed the settlement agreement, and after a short waiting period, the divorce will be final. Thanks for everyone's support and advice, and this will be my final update. Once the divorce is final, I will follow one suggestion to let her read the posts and realize the manipulator got manipulated. Ah, the sweet music of justice. Divorce papers delivered like a surprise package, job terminations served like a cold meal of retribution, and social media confessions sprinkled with a dash of vindication. I appreciate when everyone gets what they deserve. Here's to transforming life's challenging situations into an unexpected turn of events. Do you have a similar story with an impressive, impactful moment? Share it with us in the comments below, and thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video.
See you next time.